3 infidelities. I want to share with you what I call the 3 infidelities. So as we move through being a betrayed man, we have the same language for what you've experienced, okay? You may have experienced 1, 2, or all 3, and not even had any knowledge of maybe even the 3rd one I'm going to talk about. Now, the first type of infidelity is obvious. It is her participating sexually with another man or another woman. Okay, she's given her body to another person sexually, be it a one-night stand, an ongoing sexual relationship, or multiple people over time. Sexual unfaithfulness is what we think of when we think of infidelity. Of course it is. Now, the second is emotional infidelity, also a very popular topic. This is her talking to another man or person in phone calls and texting and social media and FaceTime, or in any format that they can have regular conversations, even just at work, okay? And she's opening up her heart to another person, sharing her dreams, her frustration, her experiences, and listening to his dreams and experiences, having innuendos back and forth, even approaching kind of sexual conversations. You know, if you were mine, I would definitely take care of that, right? These are usually ongoing, and it may or may not lead to sexual encounters. But there are women who just enjoy having this kind of teasing type of intrigue relationship. We actually have a DVD called Intrigue Addiction, which explains the process of that, okay? Where they can feel wanted or cared for, but they don't want to cross the line. They just want to tease the other person and want the other person to believe that they're interested in them, okay? And sometimes they cross the line physically, but sometimes they don't. They just keep this tension of, yeah, I wish I could have you, wish I could taste that fruit, but yeah, we probably shouldn't. But it's fun talking about it, isn't it? Don't you think I'm beautiful? Don't you think I'm smart and wonderful? I really love the way you praise me. And it becomes this whole game. And it stays inside that kind of emotional environment. However, on your end, if you were doing that, she would feel very challenged not to call that inappropriate. For you, it still hurts. And it is a real betrayal when a woman starts giving her heart to another man. She promised to forsake all others, and that's not just sexual. Now, these types of affairs are easier for her to justify or to blame you or others, but again, it's 100% her choice to give her heart and her time and her energy to another man. She is initiating in this other relationship and giving energy to maintain and to grow it. This energy she may not be giving to you, and you, without your knowledge, are being compared to him. Her desire for him can grow, and this literally can go on for years or even decades. Her need or desire to protect her time and communication with him tells you that she values him. You know, she won't block him. She won't stop the Facebook with him. She won't stop the whatever she's doing. And this is betrayal. Even though she might minimize it or even blame you that you're jealous, insecure, or you're not trusting her, this is a second form of betrayal, and it's emotional betrayal. She agreed to share her heart, her feelings, and experiences with you, and your pain and trauma from this type of betrayal is real. I've seen countless men devastated when they find out that she has been having these types of ongoing relationships. Just like the men who find out about sexual infidelity, they experience real pain and very much the same type of symptoms. Now, the third type of infidelity you might have never heard of or thought of. The third type of infidelity is neglect. They are not having an affair with others. They are married to themselves, to their world, but not to you. You feel married and alone. You feel like a roommate. You've even said that to her. You feel like a paycheck, and you feel you must beg to be touched, beg to have sex, and she might not be present during sex, or make it like a hope it's good for you experience as opposed to like a really connected lovemaking experience. You feel you're the last on the list, you know, after her life, the kids, the dog, the friends, the neighbors, you're last on the list, and the list can grow even if you want to have physical or emotional intimacy with her. You can feel avoided. This is neglect. And our research shows that the impact is the same as infidelity, okay? So if you're being neglected, you're having the same kind of betrayal and you're experiencing the same kind of symptoms. You just don't have the physical betrayal or emotional betrayal with another person, okay? It's neglect that you're being betrayed with. I want to share with you something that I've learned in marriage, and it only shows up in your marriage. And when everyone else thinks your wife is amazing, okay, I coined the term intimacy anorexia many years ago. And we have a lot about this on YouTube, and our website is intimacyanorexia.com. If you find this part of this conversation really hitting you, you might want to do some research on this. Intimacy anorexia is the active withholding of spiritual, emotional, and sexual intimacy with your spouse. Everyone else, they can be, great with, but with you, you're alone. It has characteristics I'll explain briefly. If you or your wife have 5 of these, I would highly recommend that you get the book or DVD called Intimacy Anorexia and the book and DVD called Married and Alone. We actually have a Married and Alone Facebook group for men who are living with women who are intimacy anorexics. Now, here are the characteristics, and just kind of, put your finger up every time I hit something that applies to your situation. And first, you might want to listen to this as it relates to her, and then maybe scroll back and see if this relates to you, because if it does, you are creating pain in the relationship. And you need to be able to identify that and heal from that and own that. Her choice is still her choice, but if you're causing the pain, you want to know that you can stop it. Now, the first one is busy. They're too busy for you. Not anybody else, but too busy for you. Most likely you're not going to go on a lot of dates, not going to have a lot of time together, be too tired when you go to bed, okay? Number 2, blame. They blame you for all the problems in the relationship. This person has a real challenge saying, I'm wrong or I'm sorry. You have to have it on video, or you have to pound them for quite a while to get them to say, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe. But I still think it was your fault. Okay, you made me do it. That's a real common thing with intimacy anorexia. Withholding love, especially the way you like to be loved. Now, most men are touch and praise. Okay, some of us like acts of service, some of us like gifts, but most of us, we want to be touched. So she'll withhold touch. We'd like to be praised, which is another symptom in a minute, but she'll withhold that. Okay, she won't tell you you're amazing, smart, capable, wonderful. Now, another characteristic is withholding praise. You won't hear it. You will not hear it, okay? Withholding spiritually. She might be a Sunday school teacher, deacon, or even a pastor, but she ain't going to pray or connect with you, okay? So there's this kind of duplicity, kind of like they might be a spiritual person to everyone else, but to you, you're not getting it, okay? They withhold or they are not present during sex. Withholding is you're just not having it, okay? Or they can just not be present. They might close their eyes or be negative or just not participating, but it doesn't feel like they're engaging you during sex. It feels like you're having sex alone. And if you feel like even emptier after sex, that's what we're talking about. Unwilling or unable to share feelings with you. And that's another characteristic. Ongoing or ungrounded criticism of you. Now, this can be whether they speak it or not. You're always feeling like they're always saying in their head something negative about you. They find that 5% of you that might not be wonderful, 95% of you might be wonderful, but that's the 5% you're going to hear about. And you're going to hear about it all the time, especially if you start confronting them about something. Now, the last characteristic I'll mention is, well, sometimes they use anger and silence as a way to control you as well. That can be a part of that. If you get into those games, you'll know that. But lastly, I'll say this. You feel like a roommate. You don't feel like lovers. You're not getting the note. You're not getting the stickies. You're not getting the back rub. You're not getting the baby, I have to have yous. You're not being asked to participate in emotional or sexual intimacy. You haven't felt ravaged in most of your marriage. You're being neglected. And that is betrayal. And many of the couples I've met where the wife cheats, she is an intimacy anorexic. She can have incredible sex as long as there's no intimacy, but if there's intimacy, which is what you represent, she shuts down. Intimacy and sexuality is hard for her. So it's very common for a woman who is acting out, especially if there's multiple people, and she has a sexual addiction or a psychological disorder, she oftentimes has intimacy anorexia. So if that doesn't get healed in the process, if you're going to stay with her, it's going to repeat issues. And so you want to make sure the intimacy anorexia gets healed, because that's the hardest part of her healing. And if that heals, you can be in incredibly good shape. Now, if you or her have 5 or more of these symptoms, intimacy anorexia is a player in your situation. Okay, if she is an intimacy anorexic, then you have suffered neglect. willful neglect. This is willful. She intends to neglect you. You can't hit the bullseye as often as she has without any intent. It's not possible. And this is important because if this is not acknowledged and healed by whoever has it, you or her, then the cycle of pain will continue, which can lead to future infidelity, okay? Now, as we continue, I might use the term neglect infidelity, and that is when they are married to themselves and you feel you are on the outside because you are. And I've seen thousands heal from all three types of these infidelities. Now, they won't heal by themselves, so regardless of what type of infidelity you've experienced, I would recommend that you reach out to my office and call 719-278-3708 to see what resources and counseling you might want to start with. You definitely don't want to deal with trauma on your own. This is one of the few times as a man, it's stronger to ask for help than to bleed out alone. And if she's willing, she needs intelligent help to heal from what's going on with her, and we've been doing this for decades. So I'd encourage you to understand the three different types, and if you have the intimacy anorexia piece, get some research on that, get some information on that, because that is a big issue, and stay with us as we continue to go down how we can, how this got this way, but how we can get better as we move through the conversation.